The Rise of Napoleon, Part 2. The Miracle in Italy and the Egyptian Dream, 1796 to 1799. Napoleon had saved the government in Paris, but he was still just a servant of the Directory. To become a master, he needed to prove he could win wars, not just street fights. His opportunity lay across the Alps, with the neglected army of Italy. The Italian Campaign, Speed and Surprise, 1796 to 1797. When Napoleon arrived in Nice to take command in March 1796, he found an army in shambles. The 37,000 soldiers were starving, shoeless, and unpaid. They had low morale and no respect for the short 26-year-old political general sent from Paris. Napoleon won them over with a single speech. Soldiers, you are naked, ill-fed. I will lead you into the most fertile plains in the world. Rich provinces, great cities will be in your power. There you will find honor, glory, and riches. He didn't just promise victory, he promised loot. The blitzkrieg of the 18th century. The Austrian and Piedmontese armies outnumbered him heavily. Traditional military wisdom dictated he should wait for reinforcements. Instead, Napoleon attacked. He introduced a new kind of warfare based on speed. He forced his men to march 20 to 30 miles a day, striking the enemy before they could concentrate their forces. He divided his enemies and defeated them in detail. Lodi, May 1796. At the bridge of Lodi, he personally directed cannon fire, earning the nickname, the Little Corporal, from his men who saw him doing the dirty work of a lower rank. Arcole, November 1796. In a legendary moment of bravery and propaganda, when his troops stalled at a bridge under heavy fire, Napoleon grabbed a flag and charged across himself. By 1797, he had humiliated the Austrian Empire. He marched to within 100 miles of Vienna, forcing them to sign the Treaty of Campo Formio. He redrew the map of Italy, creating sister republics modeled after France. He returned to Paris not just as a general, but as a conqueror who had brought peace and treasure to France. The Egyptian Expedition, Glory and Failure, 1798 to 1799. Napoleon knew the Directory feared his popularity. He also knew he wasn't ready to seize power yet. The fruit, as he said, was not yet ripe. He needed to stay in the headlines but away from the messy politics of Paris. His solution was audacious: invade Egypt. The goal was to strike at Britain's trade with India. But for Napoleon, it was also a romantic quest. He brought 160 scholars, scientists, and artists with him, the savants, to study the ancient land. The Battle of the Pyramids. In July 1798, his modern army met the Mamluk warrior caste near Cairo. The Mamluks charged with medieval ferocity, but Napoleon formed his troops into massive hollow squares. The French squares became human fortresses, bristling with bayonets and cannon fire. The Mamluk cavalry smashed against them and broke. Napoleon lost 29 men, the Mamluks lost thousands. Soldiers, he told his men, 40 centuries look down upon you. The trap, but victory was short-lived. Days later, the British Admiral Horatio Nelson caught the French fleet anchored at Aboukir Bay. In the Battle of the Nile, Nelson annihilated the French navy. Napoleon was trapped in Egypt. His army was cut off from France, with no way home and no supplies. Despite this disaster, Napoleon continued to govern Egypt, modernizing laws and even founding the Institut d'Egypte. But when plague struck his army, and an invasion of Syria failed, he realized the campaign was a dead end. 7. The Great Escape. In 1799, news reached him that the Directory in France was collapsing, and that a coalition of enemies was attacking French borders. He knew his moment had finally come. Abandoning his army in Egypt, a move that would be considered desertion for any other officer, he slipped past the British blockade on a small ship and returned to France. He didn't return as a failure who lost an army. He returned as the mysterious conqueror of the East. The French public, desperate for a savior, cheered his arrival. Next step,